Hey Scorpio, how's it going? Before we get into this, let's set the intention for this to be a space where everyone allows themselves to feel seen and validated, and ultimately for this to be a safe space and a healing space in alignment with everyone's highest good. So I kept seeing the Two of Cups within the shuffle, but it seems like there's even a bit of melancholy that I'm sensing with the energy. It seems like you could have had something that was really strong and something that you really cared for, and maybe like circumstances around the situation. Like, I'm seeing this be a relationship that you've had. Maybe circumstances around the relationship like didn't allow something to bloom, or at least it didn't allow it to stay in that state. Because I'm even getting like something environmentally could have affected a relationship that you had. We're going to get deeper into it. There is a sense of like eventually getting to a place where you're going to be moving on, but right now you may feel pretty nostalgic in relationship to this relationship. I'm seeing you be really careful about even where your thoughts are going right now. I'm looking at the King of Swords, Justice, the Magician. This can mean being very deliberate when it comes to conversations that you're having right now. Wanting to make sure that things are balanced. As I said before about the thoughts, this could be like being mindful of where you're allowing your thoughts to stray and catching yourself and bringing them back to a place that you want your thoughts to be at. Or if you find your mind straying in a direction that you want to stop, then you're doing that and focusing elsewhere. This is one of those moments too where if you're trying to manifest something new within your life and to bring about a sense of balance that maybe you felt was lacking before, there's a sense of needing to like get your thoughts and your energy all on the same page so you can move forward. Here you are, Scorpio. It looks like you recognize your power in this situation when it comes to how you're using your brain, how you are processing, energetically where you're steering things. I'm interested about seeing the Justice card here, though. There's a very strong desire to be manifesting things that are in alignment with you. And this means too recognizing the line between like what you want and what's in alignment and making sure that those things are cohesive. Because sometimes we want things, however, they're not in alignment for us, and that's where the like disruptions come from. Or we think we want something. For some of you, you could be planning to have a conversation with someone. Talk something out even, I'm hearing. But I'm looking at something that there's a lot of feeling worried about this. It's almost like you know what the right thing is to do, but you may be having a really hard time with that right now. Like, I'm even seeing something feeling nightmarish a bit. Maybe this is something difficult to do. Like, some situation needs to be made right, but that's hard. Remember, energies can always be reversed. But yeah, it's like a plan that you may not want to go through with, but you know that it's right to do. Or maybe you would just rather leave things how they are even. This may be something that like really brings up a lot of emotions for you as well, so it may be something more difficult to do. For some of you too, you could even be wondering like how effective you'll be if you use your voice, but I'm getting that it's important that you do. I am seeing a tower. This is guided. This is a force that was created. I'm looking at Mercury, Mars right next to you, Scorpio, and I'm also looking at Libra here. It's almost like something needs to be made right before a cycle can be completed. This is what I'm seeing here. And there's some sort of plan that you're making. I'm getting a bit of like a catastrophizing type of energy where you may be thinking like the worst is going to happen with this situation and like really preparing. Maybe this is one of those situations too where it's like hope for the best, prepare for the worst. Because I am seeing something, but it seems like in your head it may be like a bit exaggerated, we can say. Yeah, this can even be something like mental health wise going on. Like your thoughts may have you in a place where it's like something needs to get done here and action needs to be taken, but there's a sense of like if one avoids all of this, it's kind of like a crippling sense that happens with like your anxiety and like all of the different places where your thoughts can go. However, if something is just addressed rather than like sitting around and letting this build, because I'm seeing like tension building, anxiety building, even this can even be thoughts that are improperly reflected, meaning that they're distorted. This is the word. This can even be like a projected space, but it's not coming from one that is grounded, and maybe this is a need to ground the energy right now. Because it's almost like something here needs to happen. However, like the anxiety about like the worst case scenario is bringing so much emotional confusion that it's delaying action from being taken here. I'm also hearing it's delaying the startup. This can be even about something you want to do within your personal life, something that you want to pursue. This feels like some very, very heavy karmic ungrounded energy that needs to be sorted through, though, because I'm seeing it be very much a barrier to like allowing you through. It's almost like a buildup that's happening. So your energy is not free flowing, and this can be something going on within the chakra space too. Like it looks like something is blocked. Definitely third eye for sure. Maybe also throat. But third eye more than anything. Third eye connects us with our intuition. And I would see that as being really difficult, especially for like Scorpio energy too, because Scorpio is so I'm hearing empathic and intuitive. So this can also be somebody's energy around you. It doesn't have to be yours, but I'm seeing like whoever this person is that's experiencing this really heavy energy, I'm seeing that they are for sure struggling right now with what they're going through. I'm seeing like having a hard time sleeping at night or having a lot of nightmares, stuff like that. Even having difficulty sometimes telling the difference between like what's actually going on and what they think is going on. Like what's going on in reality versus what's being projected, and having a hard time understanding the difference between the two. I'm seeing like a lot of confusion. This does definitely seem like something psychological that's going on. Like, this person may be, like, seeking counsel or something like that, or, like, going to a therapist or something. Yeah. With the moon here, too. The moon, the Seven of Swords, the Seven of Cups, the Nine of Swords, the Tower. If you're on the end where you're like dealing with someone within this energy, it would be like quite difficult to get a straight answer from them, but more so because I don't think they are like seeing clearly. So I wouldn't say that they're necessarily doing it on purpose. It's almost like an energy that's kind of gotten out of touch so much where they wouldn't be able to be clarifying things for you. I'm hearing disordered, and I'm also hearing dysregulated. It really does feel like something mental health wise. That may be a specific message for someone. Like, that feels like a very, very particular energy coming through with the cards. Yeah, we even got Neptune here. Something about a regretful event, I'm hearing regretful event specifically, needs to be thought out. This can be something where, like, you wish you hadn't done something, or you wish, like, someone else hadn't done something, and there's a sense of regret, and there's a sense of, I'm hearing tiredness, I'm also hearing sorriness. It looks like if someone would be able to ground their energy and knock the ego space out of the way, because I'm seeing it almost be like someone may not want to admit that they had done something wrong, and this could be coming from a place of them having a hard time, like, even wanting to see, because definitely something with the throat chakra. With Justice and the Nine of Swords and the Hanged Man here, what I'm seeing is that in someone's heart, and when they're thinking clearly, they absolutely regret something that happened. A way that they acted repeatedly, how someone handled another person emotionally. So we have that. And this is like when someone is thinking clearly and when they're grounded, like where they are, what they're feeling. On the other hand, they know that justice needs to be brought to this situation. However, I'm seeing someone that has such a difficult time, like, admitting to, like, making a mistake or doing something wrong or needing to come through and apologize. And I'm seeing this be, like, such an ego thing that they actually push themselves into a place of, like, active denial. This is what I'm hearing, active denial. With the Hanged Man here, it's like pushing yourself into a place where you're living in a fantasy space where you can avoid the things that you need to avoid because you feel scared of facing reality. I'm seeing this so clearly here with the Nine of Swords and the Hanged Man. Because with Neptune, we can escape into a land where we don't have to face things, and you can just see things the way that you want to, and it can be very out of touch with reality. This can be somebody that's also, like, Neptune can speak on, like, drug abuse as well, or, like, using, it's any type of escapism, any type of, like, not facing the truth, not facing reality. And the thing is that people may get tripped up because Neptune, when it's grounded, it's super insightful, super intuitive. It can even, like, predict things. Like, it's a very psychic energy. However, when it's ungrounded, there's a lot of illusion that's tied in around it. There's a lot of being out of touch with reality. It's a lot of distorted thinking and also feeling persecuted as well. I'm hearing unrightfully so. So these are all things that come along with it. And remember too, like with every planet, there's always, and with every zodiac, there's always a like higher vibe, a higher frequency, meaning like more consciousness and more groundedness, and then like a lower side, lower frequency, some people call it a dark side, whatever it is that you label it, but it's like a less conscious energy, it's less self-aware, we can say. And so, like, this is what I'm seeing here. I'm seeing someone, like, very much in it, Neptune as well. When someone has ungrounded Neptune, or they're more in the shadow, we can say. Someone can be more dishonest, not being upfront about things, hiding things, being covert as well, especially with the Magician here too. This is like Neptune and Mercury together. This can mean someone that like actively is dishonest with you, trying to hide things. But it's more so they can be seen in the way that they want to be seen and also not have to admit fault. This is definitely a really tough energy. This feels very, very karmic, Scorpio. It looks too like whoever this person, I'm hearing active denial. I think this came through before. Whoever this person is that's in active denial, I'm seeing that there's definitely a tower coming through. It seems like there's been a buildup. I'm getting something again with the throat chakra. There has been a buildup with this energy where if this person, it's like it came time for them to like need to face the consequences with something, and I'm seeing them still actively denying this, and I'm seeing it go into a place where now there are like unavoidable repercussions with the tower based off of somebody like actively creating disharmony within their relationships. Like I'm seeing spirit watching over this person. I'm seeing this actually be a really serious thing. Like someone's definitely getting a really intense karmic return right now. Whoever this person is. I'm looking at Leo. Leo, Mars, Mercury, Neptune, Scorpio, Libra. The most wild thing about all of this is that if someone would come through and apologize or even like admit to themselves that they regretted like what had happened or what they had done, and they actually sat with that and understood like the value of the lesson within that experience and really tapped into the part of themselves that is brave and ready to like go through the transformation that they're being guided into, all of this other business would pretty much dissolve. Like they wouldn't be dealing with this. But because of the, I'm getting the word active denial again, because of this, there's a sense of like just a lot of towers happening within this person's life. A sense of them like not properly taking care of themselves, and also like being confused about where they're being guided in the first place. Because I'm seeing this person like may want to get out of the place where they are right now, like want to have a clean slate, but you can't have the clean slate unless like the karma is reviewed, is what I'm getting. Like I'm getting this person's spirit guides are like really heavily trying to work with them, but there's a sense of like justice and karmic resolve needing to come through before a clean slate can be had. I'm seeing this be so important because there's a sense of someone like actively denying the repercussions of like their actions and their behaviors, and the karma has to be dealt with prior to them being able to have the clean slate. So like once things are absolved, there's a sense of like being able to have the new beginning that they want. However, until all of this stuff is reviewed and the proper steps are taken to clear the karma, this person is not going to be able to move through. Like, they're basically like suspended right now, spiritually speaking, until all of this is moved through. This is such an interesting reading. I'm looking at Libra, Mercury, Scorpio, Mars, Leo, Uranus, Neptune. It looks too like this is about them like coming into their own light and finding themselves, but I'm also seeing that until they go through this transition, it's like they're not even sure of completely who they are. And that may have also been something, like this can be a very chameleon energy that you've been dealing with. If you, Scorpio, if you are the one that's been dealing with this person, this is someone that like may have really projected onto you, and you could have felt like in some ways you really knew this person, and in other ways you have no clue who they are at all. But it's more so because they don't really know themselves. So even if you felt at times like they weren't sharing with you certain things about themselves, it's because of like they're so out of touch with themselves that they actually like don't even know who they are at times. I'm being really drawn to the King of Swords actual sword. It looks like a popsicle. I'm getting something even about cherry. This is like someone wanting a way out and not knowing how to get there. But yeah, it just... Again, until this stuff is faced, it's going to be like the same karmic loop over and over again. So I don't know if like you relate to parts of this or it's somebody you've been dealing with, but you're being given the information for a reason. Because you could be like wondering why something's not working out with someone, and like regardless of what side you're on, it just looks like something really heavy karmically is unfolding right now that's like making other things not be able to fall into place. It really has to do with like accountability and responsibility here, I'm seeing, because it's like this person is not taking responsibility for themselves and not holding themselves accountable. And so like they have to figure out the relationship with themselves first before they can like try to have a functional relationship with another person, you know? Because this is somebody that is going to like avoid consequences and continue doing what they want, especially with how that Neptune energy was in there. It's like this person may even like, you could have found them like lying over even trivial things. I don't know why the word is escaping me, but it's like shadow in its Neptune is like it's like the saboteur energy. It's somebody that's going to be like sneaking around and kind of evading consequences and all of that stuff because it benefits them to do that, and like lacking moral integrity in that way. But yeah, they're just like some things that can't change now. I'm looking at the Five of Swords. The Five of Swords is also an energy that's projecting. This person could have gone through... Ooh, and the Seven of Swords. There's definitely a word I'm looking for here that's not coming through. This is somebody that could have been through things that, like, they were taught that they had to survive by any means, and so, like, even though they may not be in these situations anymore, like, they're out of the situation that they grew up in, they're still in, like, survival mode. And so it's very hard to connect with this person spiritually. It would be also very hard to connect with this person in an intimate way. I'm not speaking physically, sexually, I'm speaking intimately. So But yeah, this person would, you could characterize them as being like somewhat self-centered, someone that's like looking out for themselves rather than looking out for like you and themselves. It's like they're very preoccupied with getting theirs. Deceptive was the word I was looking for, and like being deceptive if necessary. Yeah, I'm seeing someone, whoever this person is, their energy is like all over the place. I'm seeing a very confused energy, but it's one that has been, like so, one that thinks that they're in touch with themselves but is actually so out of touch with themselves. And it's because of there being like such a sense of distraction even within the environment that this person experiences. Like, we're really getting into this person's energy, Scorpio. This person would also, as I said before, think that they're very in touch with themselves, and like maybe even call themselves empathetic. However, they're just like constantly projecting and doing so much that they don't even realize that they're projecting. So this is someone that, like, if you were in an intimate relation, like if you were in an interpersonal relationship, like a romantic relationship with this person, like, we're just going to use an example here. This person would have, like, say that they cheated on you. Instead of them coming to you and admitting this, they would start accusing you of cheating. You know what I'm saying? And they would like convince themselves that you're cheating on them, because that's how intensely they're projecting. Like, in a way they know themselves, but instead of them understanding that, like, what they think other people doing is them, if that makes sense. I feel like this is getting so confusing. The things that they accuse you of would be things that they're actually doing, okay? So all of the things that this person is like, this person does that, and that happened with this person, it's like they're doing all of these things. So, like, everybody around them is a mirror for them. And they just haven't maybe like made that connection yet to understand it. And would only really talk about the good things that they did. Probably would seem like a victim within the stories that they tell you, for the most part. Stories would revolve around them, around their accomplishments, around them being like persecuted or a victim, even a savior. But yeah, usually being like helpless at the hand of other people. This is how they would frame it. Yeah, definitely just something. I'd be surprised if this person was not like in therapy, but also it depends too, because some personality disorders, like, it's very rare for people to go to therapy for them, depending on what the personality disorder is. And it probably would have began in like childhood abuse and or neglect. But as I said before, like, this person, where this most likely stems from is the environment that they were in when they were younger, and needing to survive by any means possible. And so even though they're older and out of that environment now, there's still a sense of like, there's that delay. It's like they still are acting as if they're in that environment even though they're not anymore, but they're still like using those coping strategies that they learned at that time now here, because there's a sense of like they still have not assimilated to where they are now. Really going into it. For those of you that are still interacting with this person, or even like interacting with this person in the memories that you're having, you're kind of being guided to pick through and understand like where the projection space is happening. It's like, what did they say that you don't identify with? Like, what this feels like for some of you, this could have been like a semi-abusive relationship that you were in. I'm definitely getting like a narcissistic type of entity with this person. But like, I really don't like to label, because there is like humanity within everybody, and sometimes when we label things, it like people get like lost, their humanity gets lost behind the labels. And so like I really try to stay away from that. What I'm seeing your guides pushing you to do right now, like if this was your situation and you were going through that with someone, if this is still an energy that you're dealing with, whether you're still actively interacting with this person or not, you're being guided to kind of pick through like all of the like labels that they could have made, or like accusations, or like what they said to you and all of that stuff, things that you don't resonate with, and like make that distinction for yourself and go through, because there could have been a lot of times that you were being projected onto, and you're being guided to like create like a defense mechanism that is going to help bring you to a place where you are feeling like you can walk out of this situation in a sure energy, where you're feeling like you're aware of yourself and knowing yourself. But this means too that we have to understand like who we really are versus what has been projected onto us. I'm seeing this be very important, because I'm seeing like so many different things have been thrown at you, and this doesn't have to relate just to this relationship that you had with this person. This can be from childhood. It's like, how many times were you told to like wear that outfit because like that's your color and you really hate that color, you know? Or that like you weren't good at something, or so you could never be that, or like anything, you were a mean person, or you were just a nice person, or like whatever, you're too sensitive, all of these things that like you don't align with. This is about segregating here and separating with what's been projected onto you versus like you and your energy and what you're actually feeling for yourself. Because this is going to lead you to a place where you're building off of this stability, the foundation of you knowing your own energy. Because until we know this, and until we feel secure and confident within that, meaning we know ourselves and we don't need validation and we don't need to prove ourselves, we are what we are and we are just being. There's a sense of being able to build stably on top of that, but until we get to that place, we need to discover ourselves, to get in touch with what we truly know, to remember what we truly know, to be in touch with not ourselves, but with everything around us, which is also just an extension of ourselves. And to also be in a place where we've learned how to ground. I'm hearing mechanically, it's almost like automatically knowing how to ground your energy, because there's a sense of stability that you're feeling because you've learned how to protect yourself against an energy that was put in your path to teach you how to properly set boundaries and defend your energy, and also not believe someone else over like your own intuition and yourself when you are sure of things. So this is like the faith that we are building within ourselves, to trust our intuition and to not be led astray, and to take responsibility for that, to take ownership of what your intuition is telling you, and have the courage to follow through with what that means for you. And anything that you're deciphering, and to let that be validation enough to like make the decisions within your life. I'm looking at Aries here with the Emperor. Definitely feels like a karmic energetic battle that you've been going through with someone. But yeah, the lesson is not to be like, yeah, I hate that type of person or whatever. The lesson is to be like, look at all these things I've learned of myself, and look at how much more in touch I am with myself now, and look at how I know how to do this now, or how I've learned that, and these skills that I'm getting, you know. It's always a personal lesson. So the takeaway is always supposed to be like something that you take away, like, of yourself, from yourself. Not you focusing your energy on other people, even the most horrendous situations that we go through. Because, like, too, at the end of the day, like, this person is so sad. I'm getting, like, such a sad energy off of them and feeling very, very lost. And so, like, even though you could have, like, suffered within the circumstances with this person, like, everybody here is suffering, you know what I mean? So once we get to the place of, like, learning what we've learned and coming into our own energy, then we can also get into a place of, like, self-forgiveness, forgiving other people, all of that. But we're not gonna get into that yet, because this seems very fresh still, regardless of when you went through this. Just energetically fresh, I'm seeing. Alright, my friends, we're going to leave the reading here. I would like to thank everybody for joining. Thank you for tuning in. I'm wishing everybody love and light and healing, and I hope to catch you guys next time.